Yo, so we're back, part 6 of the resume project. We are getting close to being basically done this thing. A couple more things to do. So I've updated the Readme a little bit. If you're not familiar with this project, we're basically creating a simple project, open source, so that people can create a really clean looking resume that they can send whenever they're applying to work somewhere. The way it works is everything is driven by this data object in the project, and when you put everything in here, it populates this project, and you get. I'm not showing you my screen. Let's try that again. So basically, the way it works is that we have this data object, and this data object controls everything you're seeing over on the right-hand side over here. So if I was to change this to Stevie, it would automatically update over here, and you can just put in all your information. Replace this picture with your picture, your contact details, everything like that, and have a quick, clean, nice-looking resume. The idea here was to be able to put some cool stuff into it, like being able to do kind of built-in cover letters, as well as being able to put kind of some key points underneath your work history, having logos for your companies you worked for, that kind of stuff. And just make this look nice and clean and beautiful. That is the plan. And so we're going to do a couple things in this stream. We are going to, number one, the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to actually add a button to be able to download this as a PDF. Initially, we had been talking about how, printing this and saving it as a PDF, but I think it'd be really helpful if there was actually just a straight up button where you can hit and download and get that PDF yourself. Then we're going to hit key experiences under work history. This is just to kind of round out your work history. I think in here, I'm actually going to start replacing with some real data for myself, just so we can get a better idea of how this thing's going to look. If you have any questions about the project, feel free to throw it into the chat as we chat here, as we stream here, and we'll get going. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually create the ability to download this as a PDF. And the way we're going to do that is Next.js has these built-in API routes. And so if you see on the left-hand side there's this API folder under Pages where you can basically create node routes. And so they come with like a pre kind of baked in hello.js. All it's doing is returning a JSON object with a name called John Doe. So if I was to open up my local host and go to API/hello, you're going to see that response. And I'll bump up that size a little bit. So I can use Node in this folder. It's not going to go to the client side, and it really helps me be able to do some things that I can't necessarily do in the browser. So what I'm going to do is we're going to use a library here called HTML to PDF. So I'm just going to do a quick search for that. And this is one I did a little bit of research last night or this morning, just to be able to just see what would work well here. And this library seems to be good. So using our terminal here, I'm just going to say npm install, and we will install that library. Cool. So we are going to import some stuff from this library. So a few different things we need in here. We need the browser, or the ability to initialize a browser. We need the method that's going to generate the PDF, and the ability to then terminate the browser. And we'll talk about these as we get into them. So the first thing we're going to do here is we are going to create the browser. So what this is doing is it's using a headless browser that's going to go to our page here. I'll zoom back out to get back into this mode. It's going to go to our page, and then it's going to capture it as a PDF. So we have to create a new browser, and then we have to get this response back that's basically going to say, hey, use this generate PDF method, and we're going to use this to bring us back a PDF of whatever URL we pass in. So in our case, we are going to pass in, for right now, we're going to hard code this, but localhost 3000, not API hello, just localhost 3000. And we're going to get back a response. This response is going to, because you can do multiple PDFs, it's going to come back with a, in this case, we're doing a single PDF. It's going to come back with a PDF object that has a buffer of data in it. So I'm actually just going to destructure this and just return the PDF object. So we're going to make a couple of changes to the response here. First of all, we are going to set a header. Oops, not a getter, a header. And we're going to set the content type to application PDF. And we're going to use this content disposition, not to do inline, but to say attachment. And then the file name in this case, we'll call it resume. And then it's going to be a status of 200, and we're going to say send, and we're going to say PDF.buffer. Just going to close that, PDF.buffer. So what this is going to do is it's going to stream back this PDF that it generates, and we're going to get it as a download, which should be awesome. One thing I didn't do is I'm awaiting this because it returns a promise, I believe. But what I'm going to do is I have to say that this is an asynchronous function so that works properly. Whatever name this file has is what the route's going to be, and I don't want it to be hello, so I'm going to name it, we'll just call it download. So I'll rename hello to be download. And so now when we go to API/download, we should get an error, which is super neat. So let's see what's going on. Excuse me. Yes. Yes, this needs to be awaited. I also think that I'm not passing a, let's see if that works. So that's going to get awaited, and yes. So this second option here is actually supposed to be an array of sources that you want. And in our case, we only want one, and it's a URL like that. So you can pass in multiple URLs to generate a single PDF from multiple places. And in our case, we're passing a URL. I think you can pass like HTML content. If, we can dive into this. If you jump into the generate PDF and you look at this PDF file object that it's expecting, you can either pass the content, which I believe is just HTML, or a URL for it to go to. So we're doing the URL. Cool. So refreshing this page now, I actually get some loading, and we get a resume. Boom. Awesome. So this is where we want to get to. There's a couple things wrong with this. First of all, we're seeing that, actually maybe not first of all, maybe only, we're seeing that there's this horrid kind of like cutoff where it actually will cut off a full line. And so we should do something about that. I'm going to add that to the README over here. Smaller things to fix. When downloading a PDF, content gets clipped between pages. And we'll just keep that in the back of our minds. But we essentially have a URL where we can now download that page. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a button that is going to call that so that we can just download this whenever we want. So we'll dive into our index page. So this is the page that controls all this content. We're going to actually say this is going to exist above all this other stuff. So we were using some stuff to be able to kind of put, if you zoom out of here a little bit, you'll see it. There's like a page kind of feel around the outside of this thing. Just so if you're viewing on the web, it looks kind of like a page. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. And what we'll do is kind of in this space up here. First of all, I don't want this to show when we're printing. So I'm going to say print hidden. But this section, we're going to put in a button. So I'm just going to throw in a button and we'll just make this work. And then we will make it look a little bit better. So I'll just say download. I don't want this to be in there. I actually want it to be above. So we're going to drop this up here. Cool. And we'll do some stuff to make it in the right spot and all that kind of stuff, make it look good. But for right now, what we're going to do is we're just going to make this work. And so the idea is that if we were to navigate just using like window.location, it should just download because of how we've set up the return and the response from the node side. So I'm just going to create a function in here, and I'm going to call it download. And all it's going to do is say window.location .href. And we're just going to say go to API/download. And then for this button, we'll say on click, download. So let's see what happens. You click this, it goes, and it takes a long time. That's super interesting, but it downloads. Cool. So that's working. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just fix this up a little bit. We're gonna say flex. We're gonna say justify center. Get that guy right in the middle. And then we'll do some padding on this or some margin. We'll just say my is 4. Maybe even make it 8. And then let's get some classes on this button. So I am going to, first of all, put a background color on it. And we'll make it, I don't know, purple is a color I kind of like to use. We'll go indigo. So it's a background color. Obviously that looks terrible. So we're saying text white. We're gonna say padding X is 2, padding Y is 3. I think I wanted that the other way around, like this. And then we're gonna make this rounded, large, and even that's fine. So download. It does take a little bit of time, but it will work. Oh, and it blocked the download because I keep basically doing the exact same file. Cool. So really quickly, really easily, we made all that work, and that's great. I do, just for fun, want to add an icon to that. I've been using the React icons library and the remix icons for this. So let's just see if there's a download. I guess that's fine. Sure, maybe something like that. So I'll import this. You know what? Before I do that, I'm actually going to create a component out of this, and I'm going to call it download PDF. And let's just separate some of this logic out. I just want to keep this file nice and clean, so we'll call this download PDF. And then in here, I'll say const download PDF. And we'll do all that. And then I'll bring my download method into that file. And then we'll make sure we import download PDF from, we're in pages right now, so components, download PDF. Jump into here, throw our method in there, and save that. Everything back here should look the same, and it doesn't because I didn't export it. Cool, there it is. So again, when I print this or download this, because I'm using this print hidden, what we should get, and I'll just double check this as we pull this down, is this should be not even in this PDF. So you'll see that in the printed PDF, there is none of that stuff up there because it is all hidden from the printed version. Cool. So we were going to grab this icon, and I'm just going to import this in here. And we'll get that going. And so in my button, I'm going to make it a flex. And I'm going to say item center, justify center. And we'll drop this in here with a margin right of 2. Cool. Download, nice. Maybe even just taking a quick look at this. I'll leave it the way it is. Cool, so you can download this now. Awesome. I am going to really quickly go to our Readme. What we'll do is we will mark that off on our list, and we will put that into the list of done features. Oops. Cool. So let's head over to our source control, and I'm just going to add in all those changes, and I'm going to say adding ability to download PDF. Commit that and push it up. And so in a few minutes, just we're using Vercel to launch this app. You can check out open-resume.vercel.app. In a few minutes, that will automatically deploy, and we should be able to see a live version of that on that URL. Cool. So I'm going to replace this with some real data, some of my data. And I'm just, you know what, the purpose of this task is not to make sure it's my data. It's really just to make sure that this data isn't terrible. And really what I mean by that is the bio isn't very long. The descriptions about each of the places that this person worked is not very long. And so it's not really giving us a good sense of what this thing should look like when everything's filled in properly. So this is kind of a random thought, and I have no idea if this is going to work. But essentially, I'm going to do a quick Google search for resume work description examples. And I just want to see if maybe there's something I can just copy and paste into this example, just to make it feel a little bit longer and a little bit more that just gave me an idea for the README here. We're gonna put key experiences, but it also might be like worth having key skills for each work history item. Maybe this is key experiences / accomplishments. Cool. I'm just gonna do like sample paragraph content, because it's really just about, having stuff. So I'm just gonna see if there's a way. I want like lorem ipsum, but I don't want lorem ipsum because it's just such trash content. Yeah. Lorem ipsum's the worst. This is super interesting because some of these are even just saying like don't even include a write-up and just do points. But okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to this is just fantastic. Okay, let's get into this data object, and we are gonna just use some of these. Boom. Let's generate another random paragraph. I think there was obviously a, yeah, just have to escape that single quote. See if there's another one. Nope, we're good. Let's generate one more. That one seemed a little bit dark, so we're gonna just do another one. Just paste that in single quote. Close this out. Let's just get back to where we were. Okay, so we've got much bigger paragraphs, and that's probably just a better sense of what this thing should look like. I'm gonna just zoom in just a little bit there. Cool. Okay. So what we're gonna do here is we are going to jump into the next part of this README. I'm just gonna kind of check this one off as some real data, which the whole point was really to get some better data in there. I'm just gonna call it better data. And so we're gonna put key accomplishments under work history. So under all three of these sections, work history, side projects, and education, I think key experiences, accomplishments, and key skills are going to be important. So it's gonna work for all three of these. So let's start with work history. And we're gonna just call this accomplishments. And it's just going to be a series of strings. And then we're also going to say skills and make that a string. And I'm actually just gonna do that for all three of these. Cool. Now these are optional. Should have made those optional for all of these. So let's just go back and fix that, because you don't have to put these in. Okay, so under work history here, I'm gonna say accomplishments. And we'll do that. We'll do that. Oh, this is not helping me. Was able to rebrand the entire experience. And something is broken about this. There we go. Just missing that end comma. And cool. So we've got these accomplishments, and let's say we're gonna put in some skills here. And we'll say HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Cool. So we're gonna dive in, and we're gonna start actually deciding how these are gonna be viewed. So let's dive into here, and we'll go into the index page here. So this is in the details panel. We'll jump in there. This is in the work history section. And then all of this was put into an experience component. So in this case, we're gonna say we're gonna say accomplishments. It's gonna be work.accomplishments, and we're gonna say skills equals work.skills. And just so this was gonna, because it's the same component in all three of these sections, work history, education, and side projects, just so that it just works, I'm gonna just add these all in right now, so we don't have to do this later. It's not work, it's school. And then in side projects, we'll add this in, and it's not work, it's project. Cool. So this experience component is basically handling the display of each of these sections here for work history, for side projects, and for education. So we're going to be working in this. So I'm just going to bring this over here, and I'm just going to close all these other files. Awesome. So we've got accomplishments, and we've got skills coming in. All of these, I mean, both of these could be also not available. So I'm just, we'll just leave it as it is. Okay. So the way this component works is it's going to do the logo. It's going to show the description of the work that was done. This is where we're going to settle in here and start to make some changes. So we're going to create this new section down here. And this will be basically, hey, if accomplishments is there, and accomplishments, I won't do that. I'll do accomplishments dot length is greater than 0. Then we're going to do something in here. Yay. Let's see if that shows up. Okay, so for the only one where there is accomplishments right now, it shows up. Great. And just for the sake of getting this all together, I'm just going to do skills in here. And I'm going to say yay skills and yay accomplishments. Cool. So we know those things are showing up if they exist, and if they don't show up. So what we want to do in here is we want to have some sort of section here that's going to show your key accomplishments. And so we are going to do a few different things. First of all, we're going to put in a heading just for accomplishments. We're going to actually use an icon, and we're going to do some spacing in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take off this. I might do semi-bold. I think it's just font semi-bold. Yeah, I think I actually only have the bold and the regular fonts, which is probably why that's not showing up. Cool, let's just leave it the way it is for now. The other thing we're gonna need for this is we're gonna need some padding on the top. Something like that. I don't even know if I spelled accomplishments right. I feel like the more I look at this word, the more it looks like I spelled it wrong. But it looks like it works. Cool. And we're gonna put the word key in front of it. Key accomplishments. And then we're just gonna grab, it's gotta be a key icon in here somewhere. I think we'll use this one. So I'm gonna import that icon and we will throw it in here. Key accomplishments. So to make these guys stack next to each other, we're gonna flex it. And then we're gonna vertically center them so that it looks nicer. And then add a little bit of margin. And maybe we only need one there. Cool. So this is essentially just going to end up being a list. And so for simplicity's sake right now, we're going to, I thought that I had changed this to word wrap, but apparently not. So we're going to loop over each of these accomplishments and we will display this. So somehow I magically overwrote the heading here. So I'm going to undo this back to where I don't overwrite the heading and throw that in. And then put this actually down here. That was more what I was looking for. Okay. Cool. So we're going to jump into a little bit of Tailwind here because I actually don't know how to style lists using Tailwind. So this will be a good learning opportunity. And I feel like it's just going to be this. So we'll say class name is list disk, and then we get that. Cool. I don't want these to be aligned like this. So we are going to put some padding or some margin on that. Maybe not that much. There's gotta be, actually, there's gotta be some styling around this to make that list style position maybe. Yes. Inside, outside. Which one does it default to, do you think? Let's try list outside and see what happens. So my margin on there. Yeah, see, that's what I want. The only thing I'm afraid of is that if that wraps, it's going to look weird. Let's just keep adding content till it wraps. Yeah, like I don't want this. Okay. So we're not going to make it list inside, but we are going to do the left-hand margin so that it looks more like this. And then I am going to put a little bit of spacing between these key accomplishments because I think they're just way too close together. So what we're going to do is we are going to say, I only want there to be padding in this case in a specific. So we're going to basically say like the padding bottom is 2, which kind of gives it nice spacing. You know what? Actually, that's fine. We'll just leave it like that. Cool. Key accomplishments. That's all well and good. I'm going to now take this out so that it only shows what's happening. 1. There we go. Cool. Key accomplishments. Great. And then skills. I was kind of thinking it'd be nice to kind of loop through those and just kind of show like kind of bubbles like this one. Just to show off your different skills that were used in that specific work situation. So let's do that real quick. I feel like there's going to be some really good tweaks we can make as well after this, but we'll start here. Cool. So similar situation in the fact that we are just going to have, we're going to do class name equals flex. So we're going to do that. And then we are going to say skills, skills.map. I don't know why it suggested that. Let's not do that. And we're going to say skill. And the idea here is that it's going to return a div with the skill inside of it. Ooh, we doubled up that. Whew. Really did not do that well, did I? So that's going to close out that. That's going to close out that. And then there. Cool. So obviously that looks terrible. But we'll just go up and we'll grab something similar to this this div here. We're going to use that instead. And that gives a nice little look there. There's probably some things to do with color with these things. Yeah, which we can just maybe do later, but cool. think similar to the accomplishments, I just want a little bit of margin on top of here. I think that looks great. Cool. Cool. So we've added in key accomplishments. We've added in the skills for that specific job. You can put them in any of your side projects or education. That is all beautiful. The only thing I'm not super feeling is that this heading is the same kind of weight as this one, and it just feels a little too powerful. But given that the font we're using doesn't really have like a semi-bold, I guess we could keep it bold, but we could actually just change the text color here to be something like gray 600. And that should calm it down a little bit. 500 maybe? 4? Yeah. Ugh, I don't like that at all. No, I don't like that at all. There's something to do here, and I'm not really sure what it is. Maybe I'll take this out of here. And maybe really what we need to do is we need to lighten the points up a little bit. Let's hold it there. I don't want to get too crazy with the design and kind of go down a path there. So we'll just leave it like this. That looks great. Yeah, so let's hit up that README file and take a look. We've added key accomplishments under work history and skills. Let's just make sure that this is just going to work the way we expect. So if I go down to the side project for laser skateboards, I should be able to say skills and say engineering and industrial design. And that should just put in these skills. Nice. Perfect. Okay, cool. Feel like we're getting there. We've got our links, we've got this, we've got everything looking good. Let's close this off. We've checked these 2 items off. And we are going to add them to the bottom of our list to say those are now done. And what we're going to do is we're going to add all this in. And we're say added key experiences and skills. And we'll sync those changes up. Cool. All right. One of the other things, I keep on putting this off. This whole thing here is what I really want to get into, and I keep putting it off because these feel like they're a little easier to hit up. But maybe I need to stop doing that. Maybe we should get into these individual pages for potential employers. Okay, so the idea here is that you could have, like, you want to set up specifically like a cover letter for a specific company that you're applying to. So my thought behind this, if we were to approach this from this kind of like, what are we calling this? Like the data structure side of things, we would create an interface for this. And the idea would be that you'd have an interface for a potential employer. And you'd have a path. We'll talk about that in a second. You'd have a name for that potential employer, or like maybe it's company name, so it's clear. And then my thought was that you'd have a couple different things in here where you'd have like a short intro, and then like reasons you want to work for them. Hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Hey man, how you doing? I'm doing great. How you doing? Tell me a little bit about yourself. And so yeah, the idea would be that you would essentially have reasons why you might want to work, and this will be a string array. And so the idea would be that in this data structure, you would have some potential employers. And so if we were going down to this data object, I could add in something like potential employers, and I can say, all right, so let's say that I wanted to work for Netflix. And we're gonna put the company name as Netflix, short intro. GitHub Copilot is definitely giving me something here, but that's not what I want. We'll do a short intro, and then what was the other thing I had in there? Reasons? Yeah. So we'll put like reasons, and we'll put in an array. I'm a huge Netflix fan. I watch Bridgerton every night. I don't know, something like that. Okay, so the idea would be now, I'm not gonna put a slash in there, sorry. The idea would be now that if you go to this URL /Netflix, it's gonna have nothing there now. But the idea would be that the same thing would show, but you'd get this kind of like little bit of a cover letter for your resume that would show up here. And so like in this short intro, you might say, maybe you're gonna say, I gotta escape that. I'm really interested in the future of streaming media. Netflix has been somewhere that I've always wanted to work. I'd be very excited for any opportunity available. And so that's what you have. I'm kind of thinking like, and some of these resumes that you make for people, you know, you do put a salutation. You might even know who the engineering manager is or whoever you're saying this to. So that might be saying, Kumar, I didn't get an answer. How are you doing? I'm doing great. Hope you're doing well. But having a salutation, just to be able to say, you know, dear, you know, Sally Wentworth, if that's the person that you're saying this to, or dear hiring manager or whatever. So I'm actually going to add in an optional salutation, and we'll make this an optional element in here. So we'll say salutation, and we'll say dear Sally Wentworth. Just missed that comma there. That's why the error happened. Cool. Okay, so let's set this up. So first thing we got to do is we've got to say in our pages folder here, what you can do is you can create dynamic paths. So the way you do this is, so I'll create a new file under pages. And what I'll do is I'll use square brackets, and that'll be .js. And I'll say company. that how that works? I feel like that's how that works. So let's do that. And if I was just to say const, what are we calling this? Company. I'll just return hello. You're doing good too? Awesome, man. We'll just return that default of company and refresh this page. And theoretically, this will work. However, I could be missing something. Seems like I put myself in some sort of... Oh, no, there it is. Okay, cool. So localhost 3000 is going to give us... Ooh, it's taking its sweet time. It's going to give us that. And then if we hit up Netflix, was debugging a bug. Oof. That can be a painful experience. Did you get it unbugged? Unbugged? So we're gonna say import data from our data file here. It's not data JSON. From data. And I have to look this up because Next.js dynamic routes, I forget how to get whatever that dynamic part. So this company in square brackets is a dynamic route, but I just forget how to get this. So it's using the router. So we're gonna grab this and then we'll get it out of the query here. So we should be able to say company. And if I was just to return company, I should just get Netflix on this page. Oh, it doesn't like that. Let's do div company. Nice, Netflix. Okay, so there's a couple different things here. One is we have to figure out if the company or the URL that you're going to is actually part of this data object. And if it's not, then we're gonna have to return like a 404. So I don't know if there's an example of this in this dynamic routing. How do you return a 404? Maybe not. I'm just gonna search that up. Next.js, dynamic routes, return 404. So I want to be able to say, if you didn't match any of the companies, return me a 404 here. Get server-side props. It's interesting. It's not, I don't feel like that's what I was looking for. Let's take a look at some of these other examples in here. You know what we might do is we might just reroute it. Next.js dynamic navigation. I feel like there is a way to push still figuring it out. Oh, brutal. What kind of bug is it? What are you coding in? There is definitely a way to do this, and I don't know why it's taking me so long to find. Navigating between pages. Client-side navigation. I just want to be able to... we could use window. So I feel like I kind of went off on a tangent there. Oh, I can add 404 JS, but so that would be helpful. Except basically anything's going to match this company. So if I do anything like, actually, that's a really good point. That anything's going to match that. Maybe what I want to do, no, I'm going to leave it there. So anything's going to match this, right? So Netflix matches, and I know that in my data object, I've got Netflix, which I can then relate to that. But what if someone was to put in, Hulu? Well, Hulu doesn't have a data object in here. So I want to be able to say, hey, if company data, if it's not in that data object, then I want to return a 404. So it's going to match this component, but I don't want it to. And that's where I'm a little bit stuck, is I wanted to maybe reroute back to the main index page. Unless you're telling me that 404 can do something like this, but it sounds like the other things I was looking up here sound like you have to use like get static props to do this. If fallback is false, then any paths not returned by get static props will result in a 404. After adding 404JS, add a check if it matches return, else router push 404. Yeah, I could do that. That's good. Does it actually have a built-in 404? No. I feel like I'm not doing this. I feel like I want to actually have something like company. And then I think I want to do id.js. And the only reason I'm suggesting I do it this way instead of what I did here is that having a catch-all in the root feels like a bad idea. Because basically anything is going to get caught by that. So I'm going to switch this up to be company/Netflix. And that's going to freak out at me. That's going to freak out at me because it wasn't finished compiling. I think. No? This is going to be ID now. So let's use that instead. And then this is ID. I think that's yeah, Kumar, I think that's a good suggestion. I think I'll do that. Why are you yelling? Oh, duh. Because we're in a folder, so I have to go back a couple here. Okay, refreshing this. This should now just say the word Netflix on the page. And if I go to 404, I feel like... No? Okay. I will do it. I will add in a custom 404 page. So you're saying it's underscore 404.js. And then I can just say const error page or page missing. Sure. And then if we were to go to something like this, didn't like that. Next.js custom 404. Oh, I see. It's just no underscore. So just like this. And then refresh this. Page, there we go. Cool. So I feel like I just want to style this a little bit. I'm going to take out the word 404 because most people don't have a clue what that was or what that is. And I'll just do something really, really minimal here and just say this, justify center, and then I'll just say margin top is 12. Couldn't find that page. And then just head back home. And I think I should use the link here. Import link. And is it href? It is. No. 2. I'll see if it's href. We're going to go back to the root link. Save that. And click that. Will that take us back to the root? Yes, it will. Okay. So if you're here, I am going to say flex call. And I'll say gap 4. And I'll add class name equals text indigo 700. And that's not working. Is class, can I use class name on here? Interesting. We couldn't find that page. I also feel like this needs like a, you know what, I'm gonna actually have this icons 8 subscription. And they have these like 404 error illustrations. And I'm just gonna pop one of these in here. Oh, who doesn't love something animated? We're gonna download this GIF. It's gonna be massive, isn't it? Oh, I can't use this because I'm making this open source and I can't do that because that's a commercial subscription. Cool. So we're gonna say like help. Question? Sure, we'll use this. So we'll import that question mark icon from React Icons, and we will put this in here, and we will make this very big. Text 6XL. Have a look at that. I feel like I'm going to kill off my node server and start it again because it does feel like it's running very slow. Refresh that. Let's see if that's any better. We'll do the same thing. Text indigo. Indigo? There it is. 700. Maybe go 600 on that. I'm gonna make this bold. And I might even go bigger. Is there 8XL? Nice. I am gonna look up next link class name because it doesn't seem to be working on there. I see. So you're supposed to put an A tag inside of that. Okay. So I'll throw this in here. And we'll see if that works. Cool. Couldn't find that page. Head back home. Not really loving this thing. I'm just going to really quickly make it better because I hate it. And I'm going to make this be text white. And we'll make this like a circle. So rounded full. We'll make it flex. We'll justify it center. We'll vertically align it center. And then we'll make the background that indigo, but we'll make it something like that. We'll add some padding. Awesome. Couldn't find that page. Head back home. I think we are onto something now. Okay, cool. Four pages in place, looking great. So the idea is that we've got our resume, everything's looking happy and whatever. The idea would be that you can throw in company/Netflix, and then you'd be able to see a specific resume geared towards them. So yeah, the idea would then be, I guess we'd have to use a use effect in here to check on whether it's a legit. Oh, I hate this. Do I hate this? I feel like I hate this. Yeah, so we're gonna do a couple different things here. So first of all, we are going to import use effect. And we're also going to bring in use state because I'm going to do something here. So I'm just going to create a loading state in here. Loading, set loading. And we're going to set that to be false. It's not loaded in the beginning. And the idea is going to be if we are loading, sorry, the default state to this is going to be true because we are loading. If we're loading, then I want you to return a div, the class name of flex, justify center, margin top 6, and just the word loading. So that's what we look like by default. And the idea is going to be basically, if we don't find one, we're gonna reroute to 404. And I wanna say that you can just do this, right? Yeah. Cool. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is we are going to say, what are we gonna say here? We're gonna say, I guess we're gonna use some state here for company, set company, and we may actually not even need a loading state then. If this is null, then what we can do is we can say, hey, if there's no company, then return loading. And then what we'll do is we'll use this effect to say, if this ID changes, then we're going to say data dot potential employers ID. So the first thing we'll do is we'll say that that has to actually exist first of all. So if there are potential employers, then get me that one. Otherwise, it's null. Actually, should be undefined. And then we essentially say, if the company doesn't exist, then we're going to push you to 404. And if it does exist, we don't even have to do the else. We should, yep. We're going to say set the company to be company. And that should be all great. Except for the fact that it wasn't all great. Let's do this. And company slash Netflix. And let's see what we actually are getting back from this. Company dot, I'll console log this. Sorry, company is what I meant to console log. Let's pull up that console log. And it's all undefined. Cool. Okay. Potential employers. Oh, it's an array. Right, it's an array. It's an array. It shouldn't be an array. It should be an object. Right? No, array's fine. Yeah, it should be an object. This should be something like this. My typing's gonna hate that, but we can fix it. So where are we? Potential employers is actually, oh man, I don't actually know how to type this. This is really interesting. It's an object where each object, oh, interesting. TypeScript, typing, keyed object. Whew. How do you even do this? Is this the same thing? Groups? Some name? Yeah. Yeah. Interface groups. Okay, okay, okay. This is interesting. So you type potential employers. The name is a string, and then it's that. Right? So the idea is, yeah, okay. I think that works. Yeah. Okay, so we don't need path anymore because we're now using a keyed index. Oops. And so I'll actually just go take that out of the object. There we go. So you key it with your URL and then you have your details. Perfect. So if we jump back into here, this should theoretically work now. Yeah. Okay. So going back here, refreshing this, I should now see Netflix be there. Just the word. Oh, it redirected. That's interesting. Console.log company / Netflix. What's happening here? It's undefined a couple times. Why is that happening? Oops. Let's have a look. So the ID is undefined, essentially. Why is the ID not coming in on the first few rounds here? I guess I can just say if there's an ID. Otherwise, don't run this. Okay, so then if someone was like, ooh, I'm going to check out their Hulu one, it's going to say, no, you're not, because it's not there. Cool. Okay. Whew. All that roundaboutness for this. So essentially what's going to happen is I'm going to actually import that index page. So I'm going to import index page from, nope. Go back one level and index. And we're really just going to do this to show this, but you're now going to get company information. And so in here, we're now going to have potentially some company information. And so that should just get passed directly in here, I think, into the details panel. And then in here, we're gonna have company details. So just popping up my console here, I'm gonna just delete all that. And I just, oops, what was that? I just wanna make sure that that company data is coming in properly. I feel as though I'm already doing a console log. Okay, let's get that out of there. And I'm also getting this experience. Right, I didn't put keys on the keys on that. There's no key on this one. Just fixing that bug real quick. I think you don't need to push to 404. It will automatically redirect to it. It'll automatically redirect to it if I were to use a path that doesn't match, like one of these for sure. The problem is that if somebody were to put something that matched the path, the dynamic path in here, it needs to, this component needs to handle the rerouting in here. Because only in here do I know whether or not there's actually, like a matching company or not, I think. Okay. So Netflix is going to take me now here, and I should, in this details panel, I'm just going to console log this. Big Blagger Clerk, what's up? How's it going? Just gonna make sure this company data is getting in here, and it is. That is fantastic. Okay. So essentially we're gonna say, so this is the name, this is who, what position you're looking for. And then right in here, we're gonna say, hey, if there's a company, then we're gonna create a new component in here called cover letter, where we pass in the company. And obviously that doesn't exist, so it's gonna throw some anger towards me, and we're gonna create it right now. So new, boom, cover letter.jsx, return cover letter. Cool, so this one's got a cover letter, sweet. And we're gonna have this company coming in here. Okay. So, just to recap where we are. We are essentially saying on this resume, if you go to just straight up the URL, the root, you're gonna get just a generic resume that you can download a PDF for and send to wherever you want. And again, all this is controlled through this data object. But this potential employers part of the data object lets you create mini cover letters. So the idea being, if you go to company / whatever this key is for the potential employer, you will be able to have embedded into here some sort of a cover letter. And so we're going to use these kind of pieces to stitch that together. Yeah, we're gonna use these pieces. Big Bagger Clerk, I hope you're having a great day. If you have any questions or any comments about what's going down, let me know. Did I say Big Bagger Clerk? I'm saying that right. Big Blagger, not Bagger. Blagger Clerk. So then the idea would be that you can have a PDF that you would be submitting to these companies, because most companies still require a PDF upload of your resume, where you're actually saying something specific about them. And the idea here is not to be super generic and be like, oh, you know, I'm so excited to work with your dynamic organization, but to put in some things specifically about that company and why you're excited to work for them. Cool. And so obviously this is not, we haven't started to do any sort of good formatting of this yet. If I was working all inside of TSX, like a TypeScript, this type that we've got for potential employer would be helpful, which is almost enough reason for me to say I kind of want to just change this to a TSX file. Refresh this, and I think it should work. Because I want to be able to export this. Are you going to work for me? Or am I going to have to? Yeah, I'm going to have to basically restart my app here. What I want to be able to do is I want to be able to type this so that I have access to all the kind of expected values of this. Okay, let's reload this. Life should be beautiful now, and life is beautiful. Cool. So in here, I'm actually going to export that. And then in cover letter, I'm going to import potential employer from data. And then I'm going to say that's the type of this. Cool. Okay. So, that should have given me some type hinting. Oh, I'm not typing it. I'm renaming it. I always forget how to do this. TypeScript. Typing. Destructured object. Can never remember how, obviously I've been here before. How do I type a destructured object? I see. Like that. Seems right. Is there an easier or better way to do it? Doesn't look like it. Oh, I see. I could do this. It's a little cleaner. Might do that. Cover letter props. Yes. Company, and it's this. And then I would just type this whole thing as that. That makes more sense. Cool. That's way clearer. I think that looks a lot better. Awesome. So now, company name. Netflix. Okay, so we're not going to do company name for now. We're going to say Salutation. And I'm going to wrap this whole thing in a div. We'll do Salutation. If it exists, I guess. We don't want this to show if it doesn't exist. And then this would be, I think it's short intro is what it's called. And then I kind of feel like this whole thing should be wrapped around with some kind of like thing to make it clear this is like something for people to look at. And so I'm just gonna make it rounded. I'm gonna make the background maybe yellow, like light yellow. And then we'll add a nice margin on the bottom there. And then we'll pad it by a bunch. see what that looks like. I feel like that's an okay start. That should have that. Okay, so Tailwind's got this prose class. I think it's part of a... Yeah, it's part of the typography plugin. So we're gonna install this plugin. And then we're gonna add it as a plugin in our Tailwind configuration. And then that should give us access to prose, which should just make this look a little nicer. Let's just see what that looks like. I mean, it's definitely doing something, but I'm not loving what it's doing. Maybe we need to just make this width full. Will that change it? Maybe Prose XL. Let's see what the options are here. So Prose is going to basically give like just a little bit nicer line height and like those kinds of things. I think if I go XL, it should be enough. Let's take a look. Oh, that's not what I want. Interesting. I don't know why it's giving so much margin. Is that what it's doing? Is it margin? That's what it looks like. Max width. Okay. I'm just gonna override that. Full? Yeah. And then I'll actually put that up here. And then we'll make this way more and this more. I think that looks good. All right. So we've got this going. And then the last piece here was, and did we make it optional? I think we made it optional. The reasons? No, we will though. We'll basically say like, hey, if there are reasons, then we're gonna show some reasons. What did I do wrong here? Close that out, and there's that. So we can do something similar here where we did the EUL, change this to an LI, and then this would be list disk. Let's just take a quick download of that PDF and just kind of see what it even looks like. See if we're making anything look good or not. Okay. Correct. Interesting. Okay. Yes, that makes sense. The way our download's set up right now, it is only looking at it's forcing it to go right to the root, so it's not going to look at this. What we'd have to do is we'd have to go into the download PDF button. And we might have to have a path in here that we pass in. Okay. All right. We're basically going to say, okay, so Next.js get relative path, relative URL. I guess we can just use kind of the built-in stuff. I'm gonna import this and just see what we have access to. Oops. All right, let's save that. So under rotor, we have as path. That's what I want right there. Okay. So we're gonna say path equals router dot as path. I'm also just realizing that this could very easily just be a link. Just gonna clean this up a little bit. Import use memo from React, and then we're gonna say use memo return It's going to be the URL. And then do one of these. 404 not found. Okay, that seemed to work. Okay, so we are going to close a lot of this. We're going to go into that the API page here for downloading, and we are going to console log the request dot query, and I'm just going to then comment this out for a second and just say res.send1. Cool. So this should let me know in here. Yeah, so we've got path. Awesome. So we're going to say const URL equals, this is going to be the base URL for us to print this. And then we're going to say rec.query.path, otherwise that. Okay, uncomment all this, uncomment this. Cool. All right, let's try this again. So we're gonna download. It's taking its sweet time. And there we go. So now we're hitting like a very specific thing, which is that the background colors are not printing. You'll see this on all of these little pills, as well as in this section that we just created. I want to know if there's a way to override that. I don't know, I guess is the question. This library here. Print background colors. Let's just see if this works for us. That'd be nice if that just solved all our problems. Did not solve our problems. Maybe it shouldn't be in the print media area. However, making sure you have the correct CSS for printing can often be tricky. Several things can be done to avoid the difficulties you're having. First, separate all your print CSS from your screen CSS. Let's see what it's like if I put it in there, outside of the media print section. Did not work. It also went into mobile mode, which is super interesting. That was weird. I wonder if there's something specific with Tailwind when it comes to this. The Tailwind print background color. It's the same one I was just on. Okay, I think that fixed the other issue I was having, but print color adjust. Let's put that in, see if that's a thing. What is happening? I'm just realizing that I am just throwing these on randomly into the void. Wow. That was pretty interesting. Okay, let's try this. See if we can get this to work. Oh, look at that. That's what's up. Not loving how huge this text is, but that's fine. We can fix that. The other thing is this we have to try and fix. CSS print text cut off. There's definitely something here. Okay, so where we're getting cut off is on these kind of sections down here. So let's just check out work experience. I think it's just called experience. And let's see if we were to, I think it's called overflow visible is what they were putting on it. So let's just say overflow visible. And let's just see if that does anything. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. CSS print text. I think this is what I want, the page break. is this? Page break. I wonder if this is set. I'm just gonna throw this in here. And I know that when I hit print, I'm seeing a PDF thing here, but you're not seeing that. I'm just trying to see if maybe that's resolved the issue. Let's see. So if I hit print, oof. Yeah, that's not good. Okay, I think I know what to do here. Let's just see, does Tailwind have this? Tailwind CSS break inside. Oh, it does have it. Okay. So what I'm going to do is on each of these experience sections, it says overflow auto, I'm going to put break inside avoid page. So if I was to download this, we should see a clear difference now. Just gotta wait for that to finish doing its thing. Okay, throw it in there, and what should happen is that nothing is going to work properly. It did not work. I think I have it in the wrong spot, actually, is why. This shouldn't be here. It should actually be on this whole thing. Okay, let's save that. And let's try that again. Okay, so it's gonna reload. And then I am going to wait for Vercel to finish. Anytime now. It's doing some compiling. Okay, cool. So let's download that and let's see what we get back here. Hopefully this properly breaks the content so that it doesn't look terrible when you print it into a PDF. I think for today we're gonna finish formatting this because it's too big. Yeah, hopefully this fixes our problem. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice. So we don't get that ugly break anymore. Okay, let's see if we can fix this, and then I think we're gonna call it a day. Okay, so let's close this out. I'm gonna jump in and go back to cover letter. And we're gonna take this prose off because it's not doing what I kind of wanted it to do, but we'll just do this. And we are going to make this text smaller. And then I'll just do like the margin. I think that's too small. We're gonna do text small. And then I'm gonna do margin left on this here, 4. And see how that goes. Hey, Byte80, thank you for the follow. I very much appreciated. And that's gonna look nice. Awesome. I think on this one specifically, I'm also going to change the line height. Really appreciate that follow. Means a lot to me. So where is this? This is on this short intro. I'm gonna change the line height. I feel like it's called tracking. No, it's called, oh shoot, I'm not gonna remember. What is line height called in here? Leading. Okay, so we're just gonna update the leading on this to be, I don't know, 4? What's that gonna look like? Oh, that's too little. Okay, let's see. Leading, 1.5 maybe? Yeah, I think that's good. And then I kind of want to, I wonder if in React icons, I wonder if they have like a I love this. Is this a resume website you're building, or is it like a resume builder? This is like a resume. It's just an open source repo that anybody can use to build their resume. So if you go to github.com/CoreyGorski/resume, you can just go and clone the repo. I'm going to be pushing the rest of these changes up. And basically the whole thing is controlled by this data object. And so there's some TypeScript types in here, but if you scroll down to this data object in here, if you replace all this with your information, it'll fully just give you your resume in this nice clean looking interface here. And so really wanted it to be something that people could use. And also, if you get down to the bottom here, there's this potential employers section here. And so if you've got a few companies that you're applying to that you're really keen on, you can put them into this data object. And then if you go to the URL company / whatever you put in as this ID, it'll put kind of like a little cover letter, whatever you put in here, it'll put those details at the top of your resume to kind of make it very specific. So, hey, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you want to use it, I would love that. That'd be great. And appreciate the follow again. And yeah, I'm keen to kind of get this out the door. This is part 6. I've been kind of doing this in small batches and small chunks, and yeah, excited to keep going with it. If you have suggestions or things that you think would be cool, feel free to add them in. Yeah, I'm really pumped to get this kind of out and let people use it. So I don't know if y'all can hear that, but my dog is barking in the background. One little thing I'm going to do here actually is I'm going to just make this text a little bit bigger just for the salutation, just so it catches the eye a bit more. Cool. Was that all I wanted to do? Was that it? I think that might have been it. I think that was it. Cool. Awesome. Salutation, that. Just want to look back at the data object. What else did I add in there? Was that everything? The company name, we didn't really use it. But salutation, short intro, the reasons. Yeah. There's something in the back of my mind where I'm like, I was going to use an icon for something. Can't remember what it was. Anyway, doesn't matter. If I don't remember, doesn't matter. Cool. I want to say we're good to go here. Let's just take a quick look at the Readme here. And we'll just kind of carve some of these things off. Oh, maybe I did want to put a little bit of a heading over top of this. I think I did. Over top of the reasons you want to work there. Part of me is thinking it'd be pretty sweet to be able to actually put some overrides. So like I'm using work history and I'm using key accomplishments as kind of headings. And maybe it'd be nice to be able to override those things. And so, yeah, reasons I'd love to work for company name. And so I'd actually take this off here. Oops, no, I just wanted the margin top to be on this one and the margin left should stay on the list. And I think using like a heart emoji on this might be nice. So like going to React icons here. Maybe if we went to remix icons and used a heart. There's got to be one that's a little bit better. Maybe even just this one. So we will import that from React icons. And then if we throw that into here, let's go back to our document here. And we will add a class name of flex so that they go side by side, and items center. Perfect. And then I'll do margin right, and we'll just do a 1. And then I think I'm going to increase the margin here just so it doesn't look like that reasons I'd love to work for Netflix is. Oh, that was the top. Not what I meant to do, but I will give it a little bit extra. I meant to do it on here so that those reasons are obviously following below. And maybe I'm going to go 8. And I think I'm going to bold this with maybe a margin bottom. I'm not sold on this icon. Not really loving it. Just gonna take a real quick look again. I feel like there was something above here that I liked a little bit better. Maybe not. Maybe even like, I think maybe this one looks better. Man, that has taken some time. I like the color scheme of your IDE, by the way. Is it a custom one? That is a great question. I feel like I set this up a long time ago and have not looked at it in a while. Yeah, in fact, I don't even remember how. Oops. I don't think it's custom. I think yeah, it's not even telling me which one it is. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly which one it is. Let me just do a real quick check here. Theme. Also, I'm a back-end developer and want more front-end experience. Was thinking of building a website portfolio from scratch. That would be awesome. Yeah. What, talking about the front end, what do you want to get more into? Like React specifically, or are you just kind of open, Vue.js? Like, there's so much to get into, or so much possibility. I'm gonna just give a little bit of MB2, a little bit of space here. I think that's good. Cool. I think I'm liking that. I think I am liking that. Cool. Okay. We're gonna mark these off as being done. Oh yeah, I was gonna do the strength pills. Same kind of thing as these, but I was thinking right underneath kind of here to show kind of what your strengths are. I have a little experience with Node.js, but I think I'll try and switch over to React. Yeah, I mean, it's my kind of tool of choice. I love it. I love being able to just kind of build things in the browser. They're super responsive and reactive. It's a great community around it. There's always going to be, you know, people who hate it, people who love it. Really, there's so many good tools out there right now. Vue.js is amazing. React's amazing. And then tons of libraries that are kind of that are coming up every once in a while that are awesome as well. Blitz.js, and I think it's actually based on React, but there's one that starts with the B that I can't think of. But yeah, recommend it, and recommend just kind of settling into one and really kind of letting it, you know, running with it and seeing how you like it. I think it's a little more widely used or Angular. Yeah. Yeah, React has definitely got a huge base, and there's lots of jobs and lots of opportunity with it right now, which is great. And there's lots of great learning material around it as well. Like Kent C. Dodds is a great resource to learn from. I think his Epic React course is actually, hey, ternary operator, thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, Kent C. Dodds has his Epic React.dev course. I think it's on sale right now. If you want to, if you're into that kind of thing, yeah, it's 25% off right now. But this is really good stuff. He has a really great course, this one, in getting into like React fundamentals and what hooks are and all that kind of stuff. He's also Vite. Vite is another good one. Yes, Vite. There's also like Svelte, and there's, oh man, there's one that starts with E. Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. It's really big in the Laravel community in PHP. But yeah, VJS, next gen front end tooling. I'm trying to think of what that one that starts. There's it's not Electron, because that's for building like desktop apps and stuff. But there's one that's oh my gosh, I'm gonna search for it this way. Laravel JavaScript tools. Oh man, what is it? That's gonna bother me. Anyway. I've actually never used Vite. Corey House is a fantastic teacher too. His courses are great and his talks are fantastic. Corey House, I think I follow him on Twitter. I think I do. Bit Native, yeah. Yes. Yeah, he's got great resources and really great content on Twitter as well if you want to follow him. I feel like there's sometimes this like cringe factor for people when you throw out the word Twitter, because they're like, oh, isn't that just a bunch of like old people on Twitter? But like for the dev community and for React community specifically, Laravel community as well, like lots of different kind of programming communities, Twitter is really powerful. You get so much content, you get it so quickly, and if you're following the right people, there's a lot to get there. So yeah, Corey House, I didn't know he had, I didn't really click in, I guess, that he has courses and stuff like that, so that's awesome. Looks like he's publishing most of his stuff on Pluralsight. That's great. Vite, is that like a preference of yours, Ternary? Is that what you use? Tell me more about why it's amazing. I think I'm gonna try to add these strength pills and maybe kind of wrap up there for the day. Hey, Boodalin 3K, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Let me know what you're interested in and what you are enjoying. Appreciate that. Strength spills. The idea was just to have something underneath here. So let's just do that real quick, and then we can wrap it up for the day. I feel like I've put quite a bit in today, and I'm feeling good about it. I may actually, I have a completely separate Twitter account for dev stuff, so I can filter out all the politics and rage. That's really smart. Because the politics and rage is real. Yeah, but it's good. It's good. The I tend to use lists to try to kind of filter that out. So being able to just kind of follow certain people. Vite is a create React app alternative that leverages ES modules. It's super fast because there's no transpiling needed. The transpilation, I tell you. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I've got a kind of like a list of technologies and things like that that I'm going to kind of do mini series. Is that a word? Mini series on for this channel. Just, you know, things like Remix for React, and just being able to kind of just try a bunch of stuff and kind of show off what they do and learn kind of as I go. So that's actually a good option, and I might do that as well. All right, let's see. So the idea here, you know what? I'm actually going to commit this, all of this stuff. I think this is all cover letter. Oh, the download stuff as well is in here. The 404. There's lots in here. Okay, I'm gonna add all this, and I'm gonna just say cover letters. Cover letters. That's mostly what all this is. And I'm gonna commit this. Awesome. Push that up. Beautiful. Okay, let's get these pills in place, and I think we'll call it a day there. So we're gonna go into our data object here, and under the data object here, we're going to put strengths, and we're gonna make that a string that's an array. I'm just gonna put it underneath looking for here. And this is going to be optional, so you don't have to have it. Beautiful. Okay, and so where were we? Under here looking for, I'm gonna say strengths, and we'll say front end dev. Let's say for this guy, database design, and I don't know, underwater basket weaving. Cool. And I broke my data object there. Just add that comma. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. So we are going to close this out, and we're going to jump into that details panel, and it's going to go right in here. So we're basically going to say, hey, you know what? If there are some strengths and data.strengths is greater, .length is greater than 0, then let's show some strengths. Hide that bar so we have a little bit more visibility. Say flex. And you know what? I'm just gonna paste in. We had. We'll go through and we'll map through this. Man, my computer is not doing well here. Oof, yeah, that styling is just horrendous. Ternary, weaving baskets while underwater or weaving baskets with an underwater use? That's a great question. My cousin used to always say this when we were young. Anytime you had to like think of something random, underwater basket weaving would come up. And I've never thought about the question you just asked. I always thought of it as like underwater basket weaving. You were weaving the baskets while you were underwater. Like it took a special skill, or maybe you were working with a specific material that could only be woven while immersed in water. That's how I've always interpreted it, but maybe, I don't know, maybe it's something different here. Maybe my beliefs have to be challenged around this. We're gonna do rounded. We're gonna say text, no, not text. We're gonna say BG gray 300, and we're gonna give it some padding. Let's just see what that looks like. We're gonna also make this, oof, that is horrendous. We're gonna go 50 on the background. We're gonna go text extra small. And then we're gonna also need to, I think, make this font sans, and we're gonna make it margin right too. You can shorten those with conditional chaining depending on your tool set by using strengths length greater than 0. Oh, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. Don't apologize for backseat driving. I love it. Just like that. That's what you're saying, right? That's a thing of beauty. And I feel like I do that in like, yeah, like multiple places in here. So I'm gonna just do this. Oh, this is, you're making me happy. That's beautiful. And I even feel like I was not doing that. I wasn't even doing that. Great. Okay. Oh, delicious. Delicious. Okay, cool. Got these in. Got these up here. I think extra small maybe was a little bit intense of me. Make that just extra small. And I am going to make the text just a little bit lighter. Text, gray. I don't know, let's go 500 and see what that looks like. And I think this should be 100 because it's... Okay, and then we'll just do a little bit of margin top too. Optional chaining. Yes. I recently started using this in, like, because I do some PHP work as well. But I always forget that it's available here as well, which is just delicious. Love little stuff like that that just saves you from having to type stuff over and over again. Okay. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna change this to MY so it's both top and bottom. And there it is. You know, I'm actually gonna keep the 2 on there and I'm gonna change this to like 4. Just to give that a good breathing room. Okay, cool. I'm feeling happy about this for now. And I think I'm gonna end things off here. Just gonna add this in. Adding strengths. Boom. So let's just do one last quick download of this to make sure that it looks nice, that we didn't break the world. I still feel like there's some design stuff we could do on that, on the cover letter stuff. It does feel a little bit like, I don't know, it feels something. Feels like there's something missing there, but. Oh, delicious. Okay. And so like we're saying, you can do the company thing, or you can just have your generic resume, which will just look like this. Taking its sweet time there to load. Will look like this. And if you download this one, you won't get that. You won't get the cover letter, which is what you want in this situation. But yeah, that will be great. I'm just gonna wait till that loads and then we'll call it a day. Beautiful. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you everybody that stuck it out, that hung out with us today. And by us, I mean me. Appreciate all the follows. It was great to chat with quite a few of you, and I hope this is helpful. And if you want to use it yourself, go check it out on the repo, github.com/CoreyGorski/resume. And I hope you all have a fantastic day.